గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ డియర్ స్టూడెంట్స్.
అయిపోయి ఇది నొక్కియండి.
తీసుకొచ్చి ఈ రెడ్ రోజు గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ డియర్ స్టూడెంట్స్. In connection with the man and environment, in continuation with the man and environment, unit 1 of our syllabus, environmental studies, that is concept of environment. You know pretty well, as you remember that first unit, concept of environment, we had discussed in the earlier classes what is meant by environment, environmental politics and related things. And after that we had discussed subtopic man and environment comes under unit 1A. Unit 1A, man and environment. We had discussed what is the relationship between man and environment. Both man and environment are interdependents. Environment plays a vital role in shaping the life of human beings. Without environment, the man cannot survive on earth. All these things we had discussed in the earlier classes. So, in continuation of the man and environment, we are going to discuss the topics or the obstacles. The obstacles of the environment. So, number one, rapid population explosion. And we know pretty well that in India, the population growth has been increasing rapidly. As many as 135 crores of people in India. So, the moment when population growth reaches beyond the mark, the country having more than required population, it will also affect on the environment to a maximum extent. So, population growth leads to poverty. Number one, population growth leads to poverty. We know what do you mean by poverty. That is, in economic language, we use it to call BPL, below the poverty line. The people who are unable to fulfill their basic needs like food, clothing, shelter, and other amenities like health, education, transport, communication, etc. So they will be called as poor people. That is, they are under poverty. So they are called as BPL, below the poverty line, the people of BPL. Or BPL in economics language, we may call them as BPL families, below the poverty line families. So if the population increases rapidly, the country has to face the problem of poverty. So when the people become poor or comes under BPL, below the poverty line, they can't afford even the basic needs like food, clothing, and they can't arrange a pakka houses for them. So that is the main problem of the poverty due to growth of population. And poverty leads to directly or indirectly decline the environmental standards. So population growth leads to poverty, and poverty leads to environmental standards, degradation of the environmental standards. So the people have to live in a constructed houses, congested, congested, very narrow way. So sometimes even 30 to 40 square yards within a place of 30 to 40 square yards, they have to build a house for them. So that is congested manner instead of spacious or instead of ventilated houses, they have to live in a congested houses. So when the people used to congested houses, they could not breathe the fresh air. They could not drink a purified water. So that is the problem of the people who are facing poverty or who are treated as poor people. Number two, rational use of non-polluted water resources. Rational use of non-polluted water resources. The restoration of water quality of our water bodies and their optimum use are the challenges before the present society. So, rational use of non-polluted water resources. The majority of the water is being polluted nowadays, not only in India, even throughout the world. Even the developing countries are also facing the same problem. So we have to get a purified water, and we have been witnessing, we have been purchasing a mineral bubble, water bubble by paying 30 or 50 rupees, and we are purchasing a liter water bottle by paying 15 to 20 rupees. Why we are purchasing the water? Why we are not interested to drink water in public taps and wells, tombs, pools? Why we have some fear? We have some fear. We are encircled by the fear. If we drink water wherever it is available, we may sick. Our lungs may spoil. So we may suffer some indigestion problems. That's why, with that fear of health spoiling, we are incurring money towards the water expenses. That means we are purchasing the liter bottle by paying 15 to 20 rupees. The reason is the river water, the canal water, pool water are being polluted. So that is the major problem of which human beings are facing nowadays. And third one, to sustain and increase agricultural growth. So without damaging environment, the over cultivation of soil results in number of deficiencies. So in order to supply to all the people, we have to produce the food grains tune with the ratio of the population. So according to the needs of the growing people, we have to produce the food grains. So there must be availability of food grains to all the people. So, in order to provide adequate food grains to the human beings, we have to produce the more paddy, wheat, jowar, maize, as the case might be. So, for that purpose, we have to cultivate more land. So, we have to bring the barren lands under cultivation. We have to cultivate major part of the land in order to supply the food grains according to the ratio of the population growth or keeping view of the growing needs of the people of our country. So that is causing the soil erosion. So we are getting 2 or 3 crops per annum. So why? To meet the needs of the growing people. Without food, we can't live for a long time. We require food. We require energy. We have to work, either physical or mental labor. So we have to require food. So therefore, we have to cultivate the more agricultural land in order to produce the food grains. So in that manner, we are cultivating 2 to 3 crops per annum in a hectare or acre, whatever the case may be. So ultimately, the soil erosion will take place. The natural resources, the minerals, will be decreased, which are reserved in the soil. That causes pollution of the land. So that is also one of the reason. So otherwise we may suffer nutrient deficiency. So in order to avoid the nutrient deficiency, we have to produce the more agricultural crops, that is food grains. And fourth one, to check soil erosion. Soil erosion means the soil losing its natural qualities, the natural features. So, due to polluted water, due to polluted air, in some agricultural lands, there is a flow of waste or drainage water from drains. The polluted water is being flow into the cultivated lands, not only damage to the crops but also damage to the soil. So that is soil erosion. The soil or the earth will lose its natural phenomenon or natural feature. The natural characteristics of the land or soil will be decreasing. That amounts to soil erosion. Fifth one, restoration of forest resources. We have to restore the forest resources. And in the first class, we had discussed as per Indian Forest Policy of 1948, 1/3 of the land should be allocated for forest, or 1/3 of the total land has to be declared as forest. So there is cutting of trees or deforestation is going on. To stop the deforestation is nothing but restoration of the forest and plant trees. The governments adopt programs like Andhra Pradesh Neeru Chettu and Telangana Haritaharam like that. So even the heads of the state and even the heads of the government and collectors, celebrities and other prominent people from different walks of life educating the people to plant a tree on the eve of their birthday, Independence Day, October 2nd, Mahatma Gandhi birthday, Republic Day, and ceremonial. The ceremonial plantation is going on. Why? In order to restore the forestation. So we have to maintain the forest resources. There must be a availability of adequate means of forest resources in order to produce the timber, spices, sandals. And the major use of forestation is we will get the maximum rainfall. Where there is a forest, definitely there will be a maximum rainfall in that area. So, as many as if we have as many as trees or forest areas or forest lands, definitely you will get more than required rain water. That is the major advantage of the restoration of the forests. So that's why the governments are being implemented the programs like Neeru Chettu, Vanam Manam, Haritaharam, like that. Next one, to check pollution. We have to check pollution from time to time. So why we have to check the pollution, especially vehicles? From motor vehicles, there will be a smoke. We know pretty well. A two-wheeler, four-wheeler, and heavy goods vehicle, transport vehicle, all motor vehicles releases a smoke. In that smoke, there is a carbon monoxide, which is hazardous to the lungs. Which is hazardous. Hazardous means injurious to health or dangerous to health. If we breathe air which is mixed with the carbon monoxide, for instance, we are moving on road, there is a road jam or traffic jam, and many of the vehicles are detained there. Signals, road jam or signals. There is a traffic signal. So when the signal switched off, red mark, all the vehicles moving towards a particular way, they will stop for 30 seconds or even sometimes 1.5 minutes, that is 90 seconds. During that period of 30 to 90 seconds, the large number of motor vehicles, whether they are two-wheeler, four-wheeler or large vehicles, they will be detained there. They release smoke. In that smoke, there is a carbon monoxide. If we breathe air, we are all detained there, sitting on our own vehicles. The vehicles in front of you or in front of me or in front of us, the vehicles in front of us releases carbon monoxide. The moment when we breathe the air, we will get carbon monoxide mixing with the air. Our lungs will be spoiled. Our lungs will be spoiled. That is most dangerous. That's why the government make a policy for each and every 6 months. We have to check pollution check for every 6 months. You may have in the vehicle, I may have in the vehicle, or we may have in the vehicles. So it is our duty, it is our obligation, it is a mandate to go for pollution checkup for every 6 months. So the government also making a policy. So we have to implement it. We have to stand by that implementation of the policy, being a responsible citizens of our country. So the prevention of pollution is of prime importance for the present society. It is the primary responsibility of the people of the present society to prevent the pollution. They have to give prime importance. Considering the above issues, it is clear that the fate of human being depends on how he is managing and overcoming the above problems. The fate. So we have to prevent, we have to control the soil erosion, we have to control the pollution, we have to take care of the non-pollution of water resources, we have to control the population growth. So if the above issues are controlled by the human beings, definitely we will have a bright future. So it is fate of the human beings depends upon how we manage and how we have to overcome all these problems which related or which are causing to the pollution. The pollution causes to injurious of health of the human beings. So some possible ways of tackling the problems and maintaining environmental standards are, we have to maintain the following standards. What they are: taking effective measures for population control, taking effective steps or measures to control the population. At the government, our government adopted the two-child norms. We two ours, we two ours, or one or two. So we have to stand for the Pakka implementation of the two-child norm, one or two. That is, the government gave a slogan, the symbol, family planning symbol. There is a triangle. We two, ours two. In Telugu, they used to say, Manamiddaram, Manakiddaram. The wife and husband say or promise each other, we two, wife and husband, we must have only two children. We two, ours two. We two, ours two. So, మేమిద్దరం మాకిద్దరం, మనమిద్దరం మనకిద్దరం. So that is the popular slogan related to the implementation of the family planning. The people must be educated in that way. That is two-child norm. Next one, optimum use of natural resources. We have to prefer natural living instead of artificial living. Natural living. We have to breathe the fresh air in spacious places like that. So we have to restrict ourselves using of fans, coolers, and ACs. So optimum use of natural resources. Natural. So when there is no pollution, we can drink the normal water, that is natural water coming from public tap, that is controlled either by municipality or panchayat, that is local government. We may drink the water from pool or tomb of our village. We may drink water from the wells. So that is natural resources. Next one, conserving and protecting biodiversity. Conserving and protecting biodiversity. Biodiversity means, bio means life. So there are as many as 6 lakhs of living organisms on earth. I told you earlier. Apart from human beings, there are 6 lakh living organisms are there. So we have to protect, we have to keep, we have to take care of, that is plants, that is buffaloes, cows, bullocks, sheep, goats, dogs, cats, etc. and other living organisms. Hence, so we have to take, suppose we need to take an egg, you want to take a chicken, so you have to protect the hens, the cocks. If you want to take a mutton meals, so we have to protect and conserve the sheep and goats. We require milk for all purposes. The comprehensive food. Milk is known as comprehensive. So in order to get milk, that is comprehensive food, we require milk. So therefore, in order to get the milk, we have to conserve and protect the buffaloes as well as cows. So like that. So that is, we have to maintain the biodiversity. Next one, creating public awareness about the benefits and implications of the environment among the general public. Many Indians are illiterates. Many Indians are living in rural areas. So we have to educate them. We have to analyze them. What are the activities related to pollution? What are the causes and consequences of the pollution? So we have to educate the general public, especially illiterates, the people who are living in rural areas. We have to promote environmental awareness, environmental consciousness among the people, being a students of MA Political Science. Particularly, we are studying a particular paper, environmental politics. Next, giving top priority for environmental protection. We have to give our priority for the protecting the environment. Citizens, society, education institutions, social organizations, religious institutions, and even the government at large. All of us has to focus our attention regarding the protection of the environment. And next one, we have to develop eco-friendly technological processes. Eco-friendly, eco-friendly means which are not causes to the pollution, or which are not damage to the environment, which are not caused to the degrading the environment. That is eco-friendly. So we require industrial goods, we require, that is electrical, electronic goods we are using to a maximum extent at current stage of life, but at the same time we have to keep in mind the protection of the environment as and when we are using the articles of electrical as well as electronics. And using biofertilizers. Nowadays, we are using chemical fertilizers, pesticides, fertilizers that is chemically related. They are causing to the soil erosion. They are causing damage to the land or soil. They are causing also other living organisms. They are also causing other plants, and even they are causing to the damage of the health of the human beings. So we have to use biofertilizers like dung and haystack, wasted haystack mixed with the dung, that is the, the waste of the animals, that is dung. So it is antiseptic as well as natural fertilizer, natural manure to the cultivating lands. So developing wasteland by adopting afforestation programs. There is a plenty of wastelands, that is barren lands. In that barren land, we have to go for plantation. So these are the steps required, or these are the measures required taking by the individuals or by the society or even by the government in order to preserve and protect the environment. Then only the relation between the man and environment will be in a healthy manner. So I hope that you are able to follow and you are able to understand. Thank you for listening.